From the racist cop making a situation out of a traffic stop,
Face away from me. Face away from me.
to a police officer mistaking her own apartment,
Off-duty officer, I thought it was at my apartment, and I saw the guy thinking that he was thinking it was my apartment.
and corrupt cops stealing. Prepare to be shocked. We're diving into the cases of corrupt cops who received life sentences. Their reactions? You won't believe it.
Face away from me. Face away from me.
This is Micheal Amiott. He's in court due to an incident where he was captured on video punching a suspect during a traffic stop. The charges against him are assault, tampering with evidence, dereliction of duty. It happened in August 12, 2017. After pulling over a car in Ohio for a traffic violation, Officer Amiott found Richard Hubbard III and his girlfriend inside. What seemed like a routine traffic stop quickly escalated when Amiott attempted to handcuff Richard, who had initially complied, but Richard resisted.
Face away from me. Face away from me.
The pop you just heard was Richard getting tased, and the officers became even more aggressive thereafter. Richard's girlfriend is seen on her knees, begging the police officers to stop beating Richard. However, Amiott didn't listen to her pleas and continued throwing punches. A passerby happened to pass by and captured this incident on his phone, showing Richard with his head under one officer's knee while Amiott delivered one final punch. Back to court, Richard stated that he acted in accordance with the law and believed there was nothing wrong with how he handled the situation.
Initially, when we go down to the ground, well, he was wrestling with us, and he does throw a punch at me. That was just shown. But if he's wrestling with us, we use strike.
While Amiott maintained that there was nothing wrong with his actions, he admitted that he threw punches even though Richard was already subdued.
Flurries of punches that you threw, did he swing back at you one time?
While I was throwing the punches, no.
As the prosecutor spoke, he pointed out that Amiott had clearly violated Richard's civil rights through the use of excessive police force.
Assault has been proven beyond any doubt. Micheal Amiott says that he was justified in using force because he's a police officer. That is the start of a violation of his civil rights.
While the prosecutor argued that it was a violation of Richard's civil rights, the defense attorney countered by arguing that Amiott acted in accordance with his training and protocol.
With police policy that governs Officer Amiott and all officers of the Euclid Police Department.
But the judge was unconvinced, as he could clearly see that it was a violation of Richard's civil rights.
And I did listen to your trainers, your prior instructors. I did listen to them, but I do believe in this case, I believe the jury got it right.
The judge even concurred with the jury's decision.
Police need to be able to control folk. Doubt about that. There must be control, but there's a limit to how that's done.
The jury found Amiott guilty.
We, the jury, being duly impaneled and sworn, do hereby find the defendant Micheal Amiott guilty of assault.
Now to the judge sentencing Amiott.
Court at this time will impose a sentence of 90 days.
Since Micheal Amiott was found guilty, he was fired from the police force and sentenced to 30 days in prison, followed by 60 days of house arrest and a 3-year probationary period. This is what Richard had to say to the judge.
Appreciate the jury and the court for making the right decision. You know, what Amiott did something wrong, still going through like the suffering with the anxiety.
But how those this compare to making a neighbor disappear?
Get up, man.
Dallas 911, this is Carla. Where's your emergency?
Hi, this is an off-duty officer. I need EMS. I'm in number.
What's going on?
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was at my apartment, and I saw the guy thinking that he was thinking it was my apartment.
He saw someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm inside the apartment with him.
Amber Guyger is in court for mistakenly entering her neighbor's apartment as she mistook it for her own. The charges against Amber Guyger involve taking a life. The incident occurred on September 6, 2018, when she entered her neighbor Botham Jean's apartment and fired at him twice, claiming she mistook Jean's apartment for her own and believed he was an intruder. Guyger then called 911.
Off-duty officer, I thought it was at my apartment, and I saw the guy thinking it was my apartment.
Shortly after authorities arrived, they attempted to save Jean, but unfortunately it was too late.
Moments later, you can see one of the officers begin CPR on Jean for 7 minutes. Paramedics arrive about 5 minutes later. As Jean is being wheeled out of the building, surveillance video shows Guyger, who was waiting in a squad car, hugging and being comforted by fellow officers.
After Jean's life was taken, Guyger was taken in for interrogation.
Still felt like that guy was going to kill me. I wish he was alive.
Back in court, the prosecutor argued that her actions were unreasonable and reckless.
She's leveling off her gun, having acquired her target, and she shoots at him twice. No opportunity for de-escalation, no opportunity for him to surrender. Bang, bang, rapid, double tap.
The prosecutor even argued that Jean was in a defensive position and explained how he was fired upon.
Hits Bo in the chest just above his left nipple. The path of that bullet goes down into his heart, does absolutely devastating damage. Goes through his lung, goes through his stomach, goes through his intestine, until it finally comes to a rest in what's called the psoas muscle, which is halfway between his stomach and his back. This path is very revealing because it is consistent with the fact that Bo was getting up from a seated position facing the door as Amber Guyger was coming into his home.
However, Guyger's defense attorney argued that she made a mistake and acted in self-defense.
Amber Guyger firmly and reasonably believed that she was in her own apartment, that she had confronted an intruder, that she had no choice, that she had no options but to use her gun to keep from dying.
2 residents from the building were in court to give their statements and recount what happened that night.
Just go in and I think I actually was about to cook me something to eat.
Okay, what happened then?
And then I heard gunshots.
Okay, how many gunshots do you remember?
2.
Anything that you saw that made you think, that's different?
Just, like I said, I just noticed it was an officer walking in. I saw she had a bag, and I just kind of saw it and went to my apartment.
The victim's father was also in the building.
Never see him again. And I want to see him. I still want to see him.
As well as the ex-police officer's mother.
She always would tell me she wished she could have taken his place. She feels very bad about it. She feels very bad about it.
Now it's time for Guyger to explain her perspective.
And I'm saying, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
What were you focused on?
Him.
Just him?
Yes.
And then he began coming for you?
Yes.
And as he began coming for you, that's when you heard him speak?
Yes.
Good. I'm going to do that now. Right.
Yes, sir.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
And that's at that point whenever I shot him.
Somewhere in this area?
Yes.
As Guyger explained what happened, she broke down, began crying, and even apologized for her actions.
And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
But the most shocking part of the trial was when she admitted to taking his life.
Shooting him in center mass, exactly where you are trained. You intended to kill Mr. Jean.
I did.
As Guyger gave her statement, Jean's younger brother Brant had something to say to Guyger before sentencing.
I can speak for myself. I forgive you, and I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die. I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. Again, I love you as a person, and I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
He forgave Guyger, wished her the best, and even gave her a hug. Now it's time for the jury to sentence her.
The jury find unanimously that the defendant did not cause the death of Botham Jean while under the immediate influence of sudden passion, and assess the defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Amber Guyger was sentenced to 10 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 5 years. But what happens when police steals from you? This case involves 3 police officers: Chief Deputy LaQuenda Banks of Smith County, Constable Curtis Banks Traylor-Harris, and Sergeant Derek Holman. They are in court facing charges of official oppression and property theft for allegedly stealing from a property while in uniform. In January 2021, while serving an eviction notice, the trio cleared the renters out and began searching through their belongings. Banks inadvertently left her body cam switched on, capturing every moment of their actions, from taking cash to Apple products and expensive glasses. Banks then pocketed everything she found valuable and later placed them inside Sergeant Holman's car. Constable Curtis Banks Traylor-Harris went to trial first.
What we see Miss Banks doing on the video, as everyone's seen it, were you aware of what she was doing?
No. Never see me pick up anything or conceal anything or hide anything.
But the detective investigating the case didn't believe him and suspected that Traylor-Harris was involved in the crime.
He was doing this unbeknownst to Constable Traylor-Harris. Why would she say it out loud?
I have no idea.
Maybe because he was in on it?
I believe so.
Does there appear to be a scheme here?
Yes.
You might have thought Banks wouldn't testify against Traylor-Harris, but she did testify against him in court.
What did you believe in to mean by that at that moment?
Whatever you see and you want it, take it.
Banks even claimed that she was coerced by the defendant into participating in the theft.
He was my boss, so I'm gonna do what he says do. I was forced to do it. If I would have said no, I would have most likely gotten fired.
Traylor-Harris was found guilty and sentenced to 5 years of probation. He later apologized to the victims for his actions.
First, I'd like to publicly offer an apology to the Foster family. The actions of my deputies that day and the inaction of me to stop it from happening. I sincerely apologize to them for that. I put myself through the academy twice, and it's just something I want to do my entire life. So, just the thought of it not being able to do it anymore, it's devastating, but I just want to be able to move on from it.
Banks received a sentence of 18 months of probation, which spared her from jail time because she testified against Traylor-Harris. As for the last officer, Derek Holman, he was found not guilty in the case, and the charges were dropped against him. But how can this be compared to the next case? This is the former Pike County Sheriff that pleaded guilty to 2 counts of theft in office and tampering with evidence. Charlie Reeder was indicted in 2019 for theft in office and tampering with evidence. These allegations were related to accusations that he embezzled money from seizures and falsified records to hide his actions. He allegedly stole roughly $5,000, which had been confiscated in other cases. The prosecutor is seeking the maximum sentence for Reeder, while he is attempting to persuade the judge to consider community service as an alternative.
I stand here before you today to take accountability for my actions. As a sheriff of Ohio, I shed, excuse me, I shed bad light on the office of sheriff. For this, I'm terribly sorry. If I could go back and change it, I would 1,000,000 times.
Another box of Kleenex.
For this is not who I am. I have and I now pray that the court will find mercy on me. And I beg the court, if they see fit, to grant me community control. I am a good person. Made bad decisions and choices. Asking all this so that I have the opportunity to watch my son graduate from high school. My daughter, he's getting married in October, so that I can be there for her, and my wife, so that I can be a husband that I haven't been in 25 years due to my career. Please do not send me to prison. I have roamed, but I'm not ruined. I still have a lot of good left in me. I thank you for your time.
When the proceedings concluded, the judge had one final question for the defendant.
The big question I have, and is on everyone's mind, I'm assuming, is why did you take the money?
I took the money, and mind you, this does not excuse it, but from drug dealers that took it from parents of very poor people in this county.
According to Reeder, he used a significant portion of that money to support charitable causes in the community. However, there is also evidence indicating that he accumulated a substantial gambling debt. Despite Reeder's explanation, the judge does not seem inclined to show sympathy.
You've been in law enforcement for 24 years. We all choose our profession, and we have to conduct ourselves with integrity so that everyone trusts us. It cannot be underestimated the damage that you have caused to the citizens of Pike County, to law enforcement who every day get up, face the same sort of stresses that you do. They go all home at night, they get up in the morning. The sacrifices that these men and women have made, I think you made a mockery of it.
Reeder was sentenced to a combined term of 6.5 years, but due to certain counts running concurrently, he will only serve 3 years in prison. Additionally, he is prohibited from holding public office in Ohio and no longer work as a peace officer. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like.